Oh, it got it off a dead body part. So great to have Isaac speaking those things. He's not being talked to now.
This is Chuck Beaver. He is a veteran of Visceral Games and Dead Space. He was a writer-producer on Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3, and he was also the showrunner for all of the transmedia. He's also one of my best friends, and he's joining me to do a first look. We both never played the Dead Space remake. So this is an old school veteran playing the new game.
I'm super excited. It's gonna be so much fun.
It's a blast from the past for you right now?
It's just a huge blast from the past, because like we sweated over every one of these details, and it's so fascinating to see somebody
Isaac,
else
it's
do it.
me. Oh, I wish I could talk to you.
Tanya.
I'm sorry. Such a little thing.
That's her? Nicole?
Yeah. First deferred from her in weeks. Easy to say the wrong thing.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I'd listen to my girlfriend over here citing security protocols.
Forewarned is forearmed.
Look at that! It's Gunner Space!
Here we go. Nice clean
Fully
re-entry.
mocap and everything. What?
Isaac never talked to them.
He never talked in the first one. That was a Dead Space 2 thing. He was
Imagine
silent.
6 months.
Great,
Sir,
look at all this.
we're in
They
hailing
upgraded
range.
all the conversation. They have conflict going between Hammond and Daniel
USG
right off the bat.
Ishimura. This is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellion responding to your distress call.
Oh, Gunner, I'm so tickled. You're in the game now. Oh, it's so great.
Sounds like their communication array is busted.
See,
Jen,
it's so much more
Johnson,
natural when the
take us in.
protagonist talks.
Guidance system override isn't responding.
Look at this.
Shit, we're coming in too hot. It's gonna smash us into the hull. Jet, enter that emergency stabilizer.
Good call on the stabilizer, Isaac.
That I always read the manual.
What the fuck's going on with flight control? That guidance system's a death trap.
Oh, they added a crew member. Look.
It's a new person.
Yeah, who's she? Hi.
Something tells
Hello.
me it doesn't end well.
Yeah,
for
she's
her.
wearing a red shirt. She's put a red shirt on now.
Yeah, exactly.
God, his rig looks amazing. Look at that. That's such a great. For that to be like in frame
Yeah.
and that big and that well treated is a super big win for them.
Where is everybody? Half the ship must have heard that.
So they had to rewrite all this intro,
Proud,
right?
Jen.
Yeah,
Gotta see her
right. And so they rewrote it from the
Awesome.
voices protagonist thing and added it just enough in, but it's exactly
I
the
would've run
same
something
arc
with
of what was
centimeters,
going on.
especially
God,
in
his rig looks
season.
great. Oh, did they skip that part? So in the beginning, when the bridge you landed and they were getting ready to enter the USG Ishimura, they had a point where they synced with the ship and the rigs would fill up, and it said "We're syncing with the ship," and then you knew that was your health bar.
Oh,
And that was the
interesting.
tutorial for the health bar.
Okay.
Oh, this is the lady talking. Oh, they skipped the Ishimura speech. There's a big Ishimura speech there that's not playing. This is so great, though. This is so much more interactive, and it's more like you really feel like you're here because now Isaac's talking, and there's stuff, people are doing things.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Come sync your rig.
There's the rig sync. So they moved it to here, which is great.
Oh, interesting.
They
They should have put that in.
It'd be funny if Isaac was like kind of a comic. He's like,
Well, I love how he's just kind of like, oh, here we go again.
Stasis modules from Acting Chief Engineer Jacob Temple.
oh,
Location.
nice.
Error. Employee not found.
So they're pulling great names out of this light backstory that was here. Like I remember Temple's the guy that you chased through the levels, and he like you just has a mini arc across multiple levels, and you find out his fate. So he gets introduced here, so that's good foreshadowing.
I've got to put the creepy baby.
Creepy baby doll. That's never good. Oh god. That's pretty solid. This looks so good in this new
Where's the
resolution.
security detail? Where's anybody? That security console's still working. Isaac, get a damage report.
Oh, so they kept some of the super signature sounds,
Yeah.
like the doors opening, and then the UI has a very specific suite of sounds. So it feels and sounds like Dead Space right now already.
Things are going to be fine when I press this button.
But it's
I'm sure.
in a remake though, you want there to be enough of the DNA that you really get a nostalgia,
What have you got?
vibe out of it, and
Yeah.
they completely nailed it.
It's not just comms or the guidance system. Half the Ishimura's in the red. Engines, hull, the trams.
So great to have Isaac speaking those things. He's not being talked to now,
Yeah.
and he's telling them like expert engineering stuff. So now he kind of stepped into the role of protagonist so much stronger. The new fidelity here is so much better. So like that room, it was just kind of a smudge before, and there was some creatures kind of coming through. But this is really great. Like, they're in a bad place.
Things aren't good. Oh my god, I did not expect that.
Yeah, Ken, no.
You okay?
Are you okay? It looks like you had some bones in your back. Yeah.
Okay, I'm running now.
Yeah, you gotta go. And that's the wrong way, by the way. Other way. Go, go, go,
Take the
go.
fight. I gotta get around. I'm running. I can't. He's in my way.
Oh no!
I'm gonna die first off. Get out of my way, dude.
Oh no!
Excuse me.
Oh, that's...
Sir. Sir. Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir.
you're gonna have to die your way out of this one.
There we go. I'm fine. Things are fine.
Oh wow, wow, that was bad.
I'm going.
We always struggle with these because when you're running with the camera, you have to show you where to go.
Yeah.
You can't see what's behind you, so the threat is hard to represent. So that's why this scene happens where you run to the elevator, and then you finally turn around and you can see this.
Yeah, we can see them coming towards you.
Yeah, so those are really hard to put in camera to do it. Look how great that message is.
Nice. They kept that moment.
Yeah, that's a critical moment. But you know what I mean? When those are hard in horror movies to have that happen because you have to see where you're going.
Yeah.
To run with the controller, so you can't get a sense of what's chasing you ever.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to jump in here and say if you really like this video, please subscribe and please hit the thumbs up button. I would really appreciate it. And please leave a comment for Chuck or me. We would love to do another episode. So if you have a question for Chuck, please just leave a comment. Thanks so much.
I'm watching you play, I'm like, doesn't he know how to run this room?
No.
Because we were like,
I wasn't there, Chuck.
I know, I'm like, I've played this room 6 trillion times. There's only one way.
Cut off their limbs.
Cut off their limbs, and look at the blood. It's even like 3D gooey blood on the wall. Here's the iconic plasma cutter. Oh, look at him assembling it. They changed a lot on the suit. Like, the suit is really the same, but there's a real tech to it. Like, there's a hexagonal skinish thing to the undersuit.
Yeah.
And then this part here was hard chunks of actual metal. Maybe it'll get a suit upgrade. But it was like actual armor on that side is an asymmetrical nod to the ribbing across all of the game visuals. And so this is more like some segmented leather pads, which is really interesting.
Yeah. Oh, hey bud, how's it going? Things are going good for you.
Yeah. That's the thing. They kept a lot of the setups. You know, when you make it and you put all those setups in, like you play it so many times, you're like, well, this was scary when I first played it, but 3 months later, now that it's perfect, it's not remotely
just like,
scary.
all right, here comes this thing that's around this corner.
Yeah, I know it's there. And
Oh, okay.
Like that, and then
I wasn't expecting that.
this is great. You're gonna just be like, oh, freak out. And so that was throughout the game, and so when we finally went to publish it, we're like, sorry, this isn't gonna be scary.
Security request retrieved.
Oh my God, this
Oh my God, Isaac. You made it.
Technology requirement to make the scene look like this.
Oh, because they're both there and on the screen.
So you're watching, so you can see her, she's recording into her hand.
What the fuck are these things?
And it's live playing their animation, and also a video log recorded and playing live as well.
They're the crew? How the hell can they be the crew?
It doesn't seem like a big deal.
We need to get to the bridge.
A lot
There's
to
1,000
coordinate.
people on board. Someone will be there.
This is one of those things where we explain this to the tech team, like what we were doing for the cinema, like the cameras,
There's a
and they're
broken
just
tram
like,
car blocking
You wanna
the
do
tunnel.
what?
It's right along the system.
Because you were saying, wasn't all of this floating UI was a huge technical thing to figure out on the original?
kind of, yeah. I don't know how they have done it. Like Ben Minot, just ungodly talented human, like Renaissance dude, and went off one weekend and made the rig.
Yeah.
UI.
Just showed up. He's like, hey, I did it.
Comes back and goes, how about this? And we're like, what? Because he was a VFX auteur way back on Lord of the Rings days.
Yeah.
And so he knew that system that we had borrowed. This was the Bondfather engine, which came from all of that EA tech from all those games. So he knew that system backwards and forwards. He made that rig system out of the particle system, the VFX particle system. And he was so good at it, he thought someone was going to take it and improve it. And everyone's like, well, that's like taking genius level stuff and expecting other people to make it even better. So we kind of shipped what he came up with because it was so brilliant. Mm-hmm. So all that was
okay,
real guys. Look at you shooting up the limb.
Take that.
Stop him. There it is.
Yeah.
He's still alive. Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
He had a lot of hit points.
You all right, bud? You okay?
How you feeling?
You need an Advil or
I
something?
think an aspirin is in order. I have an aspirin. I'm going to the closet of things.
Goodies, closet of goodies that we will find.
I'm just excited that Isaac's talking now. He can be much more of a guide of his own agency here to be a repair guy and offer expertise. And if Hammond and Kendra get like, what do we do? And Isaac can save the day, right? Because he's the right guy. That was not possible. Oh, there it is. Man, these were, for some reason, oh, they got it off a dead body part. Oh, it's amazing.
Give me the stasis. I really wish that when they were re-recording with Gunnar, they should have just had him just be like, why is he's talking now, but he's really weird.
He makes some funky ass sounds. What is going on with
just
him?
like, stasis. I'm glad they made him talk, but this is kind of weird
Kind
now.
of a goof, and like he's looking at the nerd. Oh, this place. The only thing we ever had him do was, I think it was Dead Space 2. You could get a really difficult upgrade, which was the finger guns, and it was no weapon. It was just him going bang, 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 and they were like,
yeah, it wasn't like a foam finger or something.
So there was a foam finger, maybe that was it, and it was laughably overpowered. And it was, and the only sound it made was Gunnar going bang, 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 bang.
I remember that.
And I remember we were in the sound booth doing it, and Gunnar's like,
You got a stasis module handy?
Why?
We need one in Tram maintenance stat.
one of the hardest things too with those logs is like, you start playing a log, you can't have a necromorph jump out. So you have to literally run around and test the play length of these things, and they end up being really, really short because people are, you know, kind of rocking through the whole setup.
The tram was jamming the whole system.
That's one down. You said a data board was fried too?
Inventory says there's a spare board in the maintenance bay. We can't run the trams without it.
Yeah, you could even push the agency of Isaac all the way, and they're like, well, that was a tram, we don't know what's going on, since Kendra Isaac like opens up something and he goes, oh, okay, it needs a board, I'll go do the thing, you guys are okay. So I would have pushed all the agency onto him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, give him a little bit more knowledge of the space and what's going on.
Like, he can be the hero of the rescue of the Ishimura, right? Like, it's a good thing he's here, he knows everything, right?
I do like how with a lot of the audio logs, everyone's just like they're all panicked. It all sets things. I'm just like, fuck, it's bad.
It's not good. And things are moving. I don't know if I hear stuff. Okay. There it is. The famous inventory. Merp, derp.
Yeah.
Oh, right button, left button moves you through tabs. We had a map. So this was a real struggle. Like I was producing the UI, and we had a map. For some reason, it was really hard to make a 3D map work that was like a layer cake and also 3D.
Yeah.
This is really great, by the way. This is significantly improved from what we did. This didn't work so much so in the first iterations. Condry, of all people, Michael Condry, was like, it's not working, we gotta spend time and money on something else. And he came up with the thing where you just sort of project the holographic line.
This thing.
Yeah, and I was like, there was no way, if we pitched that, there was no way that Condry was gonna let that through.
Yeah.
Because he was the DD and he was in charge of scope. And I was like, dude, if you want to spend the resources on that, that's amazing. And sure enough, you know, he thought it was important enough that he did, so. I love that feature, by the way. Talk about like the perfect like continuation of the diegetic UI.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing better than where do you need to go? Where the
Yeah.
hologram light shows you. It's just, you don't play a map any longer. There's no like mini map in the frame, but you still get information. It was a really solid design.
Yeah. Because like you said, everything is in, please, Fox. Everything is in the world. Like there's even when you do the menu, like when you pull this up, it's still in Isaac. Like Isaac would be looking at it. It's not like this giant menu comes up for the player.
Right. If you go back into it and you move the goober around go back to the other tab and move the inventory items around, Isaac's face moves to look.
Oh yeah, you're right. He's looking left and right.
His head will turn to.
That's awesome.
It's those little things that you're nerding out on when you're making it. They were like, "Can we make his face look at it as we go?" And everyone was so into it. All the tech people were like, "Yeah,
We can do that actually."
They were. That was the great part about it. Was like, man, look how great that looks up close. I love the stasis module. That is a ridiculous upgrade, man. That was just like a puck with a blue arc around it.
Like, this
and now
is good.
it's like a Tony Stark special. That's really great.
The environments are so cool too.
Yeah.
This thing is barely hanging. I like how you were also mentioning that everything had to be like, everything would fail a safety check, where it's just like everything is dangerous. Even the railings are dangerous. It's just
It's like the opposite of OSHA, right?
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you walk through, you could maybe snag your spacesuit on a random piece of metal poking out from, you know, any hallway and lose your oxygen and die. It was meant to look really unsafe because it was like,
You can, like, even here, like, this
That's
is,
what I mean, yeah.
like,
those.
totally gothic architecture.
Yep,
It's just,
absolutely. And that's why those are reflected in Isaac's armor. Like, that ribbing and stuff is a very thematic visual for the entire ship and Isaac's armor.
Yeah.
And the rig.
Repaired, now functional. Everything's fine. Was this the kind of stuff that you would work on in the past, doing these?
Yeah, I did a lot of the writing for the video logs and the audio logs in the game, because Anthony Daniels had done all the script writing for the cinematics in Dead Space 1, and I was helping produce those when they got back from the shoots and stuff. But he did the writing, but I was doing a lot of the audio log. I remember when we first got this. Oh god.
No.
Yeah, oh, die.
Please.
He's coming at you
He's
still.
coming. There's another guy. No, I can't see him.
There you go.
He's like, meh.
Well, I wonder the CPU increases between this and the old DS, whatever we were on.
Completely
Right?
off the charts.
Well, that's why the dismemberment is so much easier. 'Cause we were clocking that thing out. 'Cause
Really?
There's like 4 or 5 models running around with any enemy because they have
the
to
multiple
become.
models attached to one thing, and then they would just fall off.
Yeah, you'd snap it, and then a new animation bank would come in because it had to gamble around a whole different new, and you'd snap that off, and there was another one, and it was just this meta state that was like carrying itself around, which is why it was hard to get. You couldn't have 12, 16 of them in a room. You could have 2.
That's why they're so tanky.
Yeah, that's why they ended up being cute little puzzles on themselves, fun to have to deal with. Well, stasis was a bit of a thing. Like, I was really pushing for stasis, and I'll secretly say that it was because I had been playing a lot of City of Heroes at the time, and there was a lot of CC, crowd control in that, and that was sort of the standard the blasters would have.
Isaac, we can't stay here much longer.
So I wanted to put in stasis because if you're a glass cannon, you have to have some kind of crowd control, otherwise you're just going to get stomped, right? Yeah. Because you're not tanky or any other classes. But it was really foreign to this. Like, I don't think there was any such thing in Resident Evil 4. And I know that the creative director at the time was just like a little bit uncertain of how to use it, but everybody liked it, so it stayed in. It was a cool effect. And I was like, well, the enemy difficulty ramps up to match this new ability you have, right? You almost have to use it to be able to manage the fights.
Yeah.
And that's how it gets incorporated into you being basically a blaster or a shooter or a ranged move. And so it's, for you, it's like, okay, well, it's almost an ult. Like, you only have 3 charges. Like, if I get in trouble, I got to use it. And now I'm okay. Now I've got to be talented later. Yeah. But not right now. I feel that you already have the flow of the game down.
Yeah, it's definitely like, it feels very reminiscent. You know, it's kind of like once you figure out that loop, it's like, oh god, shoot their limbs. But it's also interesting because your aim speed is not that fast. You kind of have to be like, oh god.
Do you feel it's too slow?
No, but it works. It doesn't feel frustratingly slow. It feels like you're scared. It feels like you would want in that horror moment.
When we first had Dead Space 1, we used I love this little wispy smoke. We had the tank controls from Resident Evil 4, and it took like 3 focus tests to beat the team into understanding that the world had moved on, and they wanted a horror game with the Gears and Halo controls. And in Dead Space 2, they were even faster. And so I think these are Dead Space 2 speed controls.
Oh, interesting.
If we did it side by side, I bet you would detect a difference. Look how great this UI works. So all the yellow means information, right? The red is like something I gotta do.
Yeah.
Blue is something to click.
Reinstalled. Maintenance complete.
There's that sound of the successful objective. The stuff just gets in your brain.
Yeah.
There those 2 are. Hello. We'll see what happens now. So this was how we used to separate chests in Dead Space 1.
Right.
Like, you do a thing, and you always went to the tram because you do a little loop and stand it up.
We're on board.
I love
Something
that.
hit the roof, but it seems
So loud. Every time.
It's a nice jump scare without over-indexing on the same exact jump scare every time. It's just another cool source.
There's enough jump scares, but it's not like cheap where you get annoyed with them. You're just like, okay, I get it. But there's enough terror where you just feel unsettled.
Dude, we really had to study horror to understand what you just said.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of noobs to making it. And we had to break down, like, what is it? Is it gore? Is it psychological tension? Is it just jump scares? And almost right when you first start, you think it's only jump scares.
Yeah.
And you quickly realize, oh no, those have a really, really short lifespan where you have a diminishing return almost instantly. Like, your 3rd jump scare, you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it stops, and it's just too like saccharine, it just goes away.
Yeah.
The psychological stuff is where it's really at. So later in this whole game, there's like I forget the name of it, but the invulnerable guy who comes after you.
That is one of my favorite parts.
Right?
I remember that so vividly because you just have to run.
Yeah, you can't exactly. The doors, they added a cool twisty cylinders on the doors now that animate when they go up. That's where we really figured out, oh, that's what makes it. And the sense of dread, so why the noises make you, a hallway is just a hallway until something skitters across. I love these levels, so we were basically basing off of System Shock. I don't know if you ever played that, the System Shock. And it had a hub and spoke, so you do some stuff, unlock a section and go run around and do some stuff and come back to where you were. So a lot of some of these levels were sort of that because it lets you reuse some stuff. It was familiar, you know, you would make some progress in an area. Oh, there's a woman in here?
Oh, this is the original, the woman who said the red shirt.
Yeah, so she's the red shirt's here. Uh-oh, is this cinematic? Yeah. Uh-oh, cinematic time!
Go!
We don't want the singularity core to open those. Oh no. Did she just die?
Okay.
Oh no.
Johnson's gone. Kellian too. The singularity core overloaded.
No! What about the command computer?
It's a brick. All the primary systems are locked down with the captain's codes.
So we find Captain Matthias.
I love that. That's a really good line. Before you go, can you look at this? This? Yeah. That's the original artwork. It wasn't quite based off of City 13 from Half-Life 2, but sort of. Like you walk into that big holding area and you go through the thing right before the guy tells you to pick up trash, and you hear them talking about City 13. And this was that because this is like, where am I? I'm on the Ishimura, and here's a propaganda piece about it. That's so great. That's all the original art. I don't know if you, obviously you don't know the story backwards and forwards. Does it feel like it's progressing organically to you? Like, okay, we're gonna get to the Callion now, fix some things. I went back and we're gonna escape, and now, oh, my escape is cut off.
Yeah, I think they've made it much more, again, I think because Isaac talks now, it feels much more like, oh, I have a relationship with these people and we're all trying to do a thing rather than just like they're telling me to go places and I'm doing it.
You know, you can't really underestimate that. I think what's really happened with him talking now, man, this feels like an actual proper horror movie with just a handful of main cast trying to get their way out, you know what I mean, and sweating through the details. There's a conflict in, you know, of the pressure of the situation. I'm not a visual dude, like it's not my thing. Like you're a fellow narrative nerd, and like we always get beat over the head with like, with the new fidelity, we can tell good stories now. And I'm like, have you ever read a book? There's not much visuals in a book. So like I get irritated when people think that is how things get better. But this is better.
That's pretty good.
This, I'm not gonna lie, is like a real sweet treat to have this stuff. I didn't think it was gonna impact me that much.
I wish I had enough to do the suit upgrade.
Oh, we can't do it?
Not yet. We need more money.
That was so fun, the suit stuff. Like, when Chris Stone was animating that, we were like, he's like, what happened? We're like, yeah, he goes in. Because you have to stream the new suit in, so you had to hide Isaac.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, so he's gonna go in and it's gonna close the door, he's gonna come out. And Chris Stone and his animation team had a really fun time with it. Basically, when he turns around, it like grabs Isaac and snaps him back in uncomfortably, like everything in the game. Nothing is not brutal in the game, right?
I love that.
Yeah, so that's like understanding thematically what a property is trying to do helps everybody do that. And it was so gratifying when anything little like that would show up because it just kept adding to the essence of the property. So even this bench with this big wings flap down, you're like, why is it?
Like you're saying, it's just like OSHA violations at all times.
Right?
Thank you so much for watching. This was a ton of fun to make, and we would love to do more. So if you'd like to see more, please let us know in the comments. And please consider subscribing so that you can see if we do another episode right when that comes out. Thanks for watching. See you later.